particular individual says, I do not have the guts to go back to those people that we took you to. I can't. In the midst of that, I also went back to that traditional doctor. After we went and I was given something to bath that girl with, I went back to that traditional doctor. No, this one is a witch doctor, because how do you remove a child from another womb and you acknowledge? Because I went again, I'm sure 2 to 3 times, because I then allowed myself to be angry. I don't want that spirit of anger anymore in my life. I went to her place and I said, what did you do to me? And she said to me, look, I'm a witch. I want money. When these people came to me wanting to do what they wanted to do to you, I told them that the process is very dangerous and it's either you are going to die or you are going to come out mad. But they were so desperate to can go on. So yes, I did it. Remember, now I'm a witch and I did not go to these people. They came to me. They are paying me up to now. They are paying me for what they have taken from you. And I told them, how could you be so cruel? But now, at that time, and even now, I am a witch. She even further exposed and said, I work with pastors. All these born-again creatures that you are talking to me about, my dear, I am the one who intensifies or rather empowers them. I give them power to do magic. You guys, you are seated at the back, and she even confronted me to say, you leave this thing and follow your calling and deliver people. Expose these things, because it's not only you. It has happened to a lot of people. We are doing this. She said to me, a lot of children are misplaced, Pinky. As I'm talking to you, a lot of children are misplaced. And when you talk this thing, you are going to help them to understand why their lives is full of mischief or disappointments or stagnation. I came to realize that people that are doing these things, they will ridicule you. They will call you mad because they don't want these things to be known. They don't want these things to be exposed. Pastors don't want it to be known that they consult witch doctors. Fortunately, I've got people that are witch doctors that confess to me that, Pinky, so and so, they pay me. There have been instances where they have woken me up to say, come and see so and so car is parked outside. He's consulting. We're now with this thing of saying you're not going to do it anymore. You're wasting your time. But I would say to them, until you get born again, I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to love you. I'm not going to judge you. All that I'm going to do as witch doctors, I'm going to pray that you come out of this demonic practices. To me, it's demonic. Don't ask me how do I know. I've never studied demonology, but the actions and for the fact that they confess to me that there is another world that we don't know, I believe them. They tell me the things that they can do, and I would look at them and I would say, I usually tell them, the powers that you are using, they are still God's power. It's just that it's a defiled power which was disclosed to you by those that chose to rebel against God, those whom God trusted with this knowledge, which was to be given to us at the right time, but because of wanting to be at the equal sitting, equal foot as God, equal position as God, they gave you the position. God refused for that information to be given at that time, because He knew that you are going to use it to destroy others, which is exactly what is happening. What am I saying to somebody who has gone this journey? I'm saying first battle is given to the toughest soldiers. You are tough. You'll realize when you come to the end of this chapter that you are going through. You will realize when you meet someone, some of us that are like me, that have gone through this and they are still here and they still believe that God has got a bigger plan. Good afternoon, and once more again, welcome to the podcast Beyond the Mask. I am Mama Pinky. I believe some or most of you have been following the two prior, and you'll be able to link. But for those that will be watching this for the first time, may you please also go watch the first 2 episodes. Today, I want us to wrap up, and unfortunately, I'm going to use a lot of English due to the comments. People outside our countries are watching, and they have pleaded with me to please also think for them, or they also want to hear what we are saying. This is a matter of an interest to them. So I just want to wrap up, and I want you to understand as to the process as it happened, with the encounter of this mysterious girl, as well as the mysterious voice that came telephonically through the private numbers, as well as how it ended and how I connected other people to this, believing that this girl was not working alone and there was a mission, as well as actually linking this to what was exposed with regard to what actually I went through in my family. I hope I make sense. Now, I'm going to start with the fact that if we can remember, I indicated that for me to believe that this mysterious girl is my daughter, this was propelled or actually encouraged by the fact that between 1999 2000, when I was going through my divorce, because of our African beliefs and practices, I was taken to a witch doctor who then confirmed to me that I've got a daughter and I should find her first and everything shall be exposed. I indicated that I didn't believe that. However, as the years progressed, I came into another working area wherein I met this particular girl. When I met this particular girl, there was an SMS that came through to my phone that indicated that indeed she was my daughter. And what made me believe, remember, I connected that to what had happened in 2000 after what the witch doctor had said. Now, they explained the process as to the SMSs explained the process that when I was pregnant, this close relative of family members of mine, they went back to the witch doctor, who on the African operation discovered that no man, I'm not carrying a single child, but I'm carrying twins. The SMSs explained that along the way when I was taken there, I was made to drink a particular concoction which drugged me, and that's where they started with their ritual and do what I will call the darkness operation. I don't know what it's called, but they know whatever the ritual that was done to remove those fetuses for purposes of wealth, wealth creation by those particular members of the family. This person explained that I drank that concoction. However, she says, or he says, or the person says, they were not there. They were afraid to go there because they couldn't stand watching the process as it was performed on me. After that, the 2 fetuses were taken out. The other one was planted where in the wilderness, and this one, as per the subsequent messages, how this one came to where I am recording this, where the girl is. According to the SMSs, please get me clear. This SMS says, this relative member of mine met the father of the unknown, of this mysterious girl, Mnandini, in fun activities, wherever the tavern. And that's when this relative of mine exposed to him that, man, I have this challenge. And by coincidence, this man that is the father to this mysterious girl then informed the member of my relative that, Neman, my mother also is a witch doctor. Let us link them, and I will also have a share in terms of your wealth. That is what was said in the SMSs. Not the girl, but the SMSs. Now, according to the SMSs, that fetus, there was communication between the witch doctor where I am from, as well as the witch doctor at this site. And the fetus was transported through a bottle with whoever that was involved. That one was not clear as to how did it get here, but the fact is that the mediator was the father who connected the doctor, the witch doctor in at home together with the witch doctor this side where I am staying. And then the magic was performed, which made it possible for the fetus to be transplanted into her mother's womb. That is what was said. So I wanted to explain the processes as it was explained by the SMSs. When we found these things out, me and this mysterious girl, it made us, personally, it broke me. It broke me. Hence, I lost weight. I became depressed. I was admitted. And she also pretended, or she appeared to be depressed. However, whenever I told her, go see the doctors because now I'm going for treatment, she blatantly refused that she will go through this on her own. Remember, a very close relative of mine is implicated that this particular relative made these rituals for wealth. This daughter allegedly starts receiving SMSs from the person who allegedly is the relative of mine. And when we check the numbers, it is exactly the same, the same numbers of this particular person who is said to be involved in the wealth creation rituals, who made this arrangement of the removal of the fetus and the transportation thereof. In those SMSs, this person will emphasize how sorry they are with regard to having done what they did, but it was because of wealth, and the intention was that I should not have found out, and that this child would have later been reincorporated into our relatives and families. That is what the SMSs were saying. Please note, I am saying this came through the SMSs on the phone. However, in this regard, the number that was reflecting was that of this particular relative and family of mine. I called the person, and the person sounded astonished to say, I know nothing about what you are talking. However, at first, when these SMSs started flooding in, I did call the affected individuals who were mentioned. All of them denied. But now, what beats me is that the relative that is said to be involved, there is no way that he can write SMSs, or they can write SMSs, all of them, especially the relative, this one. There's no way. Why? Because I lived with them. I know the type of person that they are. They wouldn't have gone and spent the whole time on their phone. Now, I wanted, this thing was creating suspicion in me. However, I would then receive private numbers, a disguised voice that would pretend to be that particular individual. And surprisingly, I fell for it. I don't know. I think subconsciously I wanted so much to believe this, or I was already captured into believing this, because it had long been planted in 2000 in my mind. Now, for me at that time to see it manifesting and becoming a reality, I think that's where they captured me. That's why at the end, I would want to advise everyone, please guard your emotions out of this horrible and horrendous experience. I have learned to take care of my emotions. I do not let anger, anxiety, panic, worry, I do not allow those things. Why? I have learned that is the entry point of evil to can be able to control you. Now, as we engage, I end up sending these SMSs to different relative members, family members, to say, yeah, this is what was done to me, and you guys, you know about it. Remember, I am depressed. And they also hit back, because now it is family names that are whose integrity is being attacked here. And now at that particular time, I'm honestly convinced that this is my daughter. I'm laughing out of. Sometimes I look at myself and I wonder, what was the intention here? Was it to run me crazy or to kill me? Because the impact and the weight of those exposures, honestly, were just draining to me. I had lost a lot of weight. I was confused. My house was my home, together with my children. We were always unhappy. We never knew happiness, honestly, for about 6 years in this house. And when it came to an end, on recognizing that this girl is involved and is working with these people, you don't know how I felt. I felt so foolish that a person of my intelligence, how could you? But my consolation was that this could have only been spiritual. On my own, knowing myself, I wouldn't have believed this. So what I saw, it was that it was long orchestrated, when honestly, I don't know. In the midst of all this, on finding her, I did go back together to this witch doctor with her. And I went to this witch doctor. I told her, I found her, as you said, in 2000. She was so excited. She had an initiate, I remember, then also in the Ndomba. Ndomba is a shrine. The initiate was shocked. And I was given a particular substance. I don't know what to call it, but it was a thin, transparent, glass-like material, which I was told that it is very fragile. I shouldn't allow it to fall. Look, this witch doctor is doing that in her presence, is saying that in her presence and the presence of the initiate. And I was told to come with her to my house, and I must bath her, and keep on reiterating that so and so, you are my child. So and so. And honestly, I'm not going to hide. I did it. Look, at that time, I am reclaiming my daughter who was stolen spiritually. Yo, guys. So we did that and we became close. However, after the spell has expired, you begin to see cracks as an individual. And these cracks was that now you recall, it's as if my memory is back, because she would say careless statement that, but you are not my mother. And I would slap her, I would hit her to say, you see, they are winning you back again. You say, now I'm caught up, I'm in a trance. I believe everything that has been planted in my mind. When they say the mind is the battleground of the enemy, please believe that. It nearly, how they captured my mind. They had taken away my life. But I really thank God, and I will forever be indebted to being loyal to God more than any other thing. And those cracks, she would keep on mentioning them. That this one, she would even go to the tenant that I mentioned, that we spent 6 years without being close or talking about these things, only to realize later that the tenant was her monitoring spirit, because she would use her to get the information from the house and everything. So because the tenant stays in a flat in my house, so she knows and hears everything that happens, but she would call and say what is happening, pretending to be concerned about me and the family, whilst using that information and to rubber stamp that, because they had already taken control of me emotionally. The voice of this alleged or this old woman would always come and confirm and reconfirm when we are from the witch doctors, when this girl has done this, because the old woman appeared as, actually she claimed to be my personal angel, and hey guys, I believed it. The kingdom of darkness, ne? But what I love is that God always has a final say. I am here today and I am smiling. And it's a testimony that I believe people that are said to be crazy, people that are misunderstood, they will at least say, at least Mama Pinky understands. And I honestly am here for everyone who has gone through that, who is misunderstood and not correct. They do not believe their story, please. Now I do. That's why I'm at a level of talking to an insane person on the street and we have a normal conversation, because I know I went through that. Now, let me show you something that confirmed to me ultimately that this woman is involved, this young girl is involved. This young girl is involved because as soon after the attempted stabbing, and I cut her, I told her, I don't want to see you, I don't want to smell you, I'm fine. If you are my child, we'll meet in heaven. But I'm no longer going to play this game. I am fine. Suddenly the SMS stopped. But however, before the SMS stopped, as well as the private numbers, there were attempts. I blocked her everywhere, and this girl finally went to my email account and again sent an email message saying, but I have asked for forgiveness, Mama. Why do you keep on? And she sent another message with another number to say, you are sending messages to people saying, this is what I'm saying to you. I chose not to respond. I said, I'm not going to respond because I see it's the game that she has been playing all these years. Whenever I wanted to quit the relationship, she will start with something new. There was a question that came through that says, where was her family all along? Let me tell you, the family was there. The family was treating me as a member of the family. I remember the first time that I met her mom. This girl calls me and say, hey, these people of the SMSs have SMS my mom and they have told her about me being your child. I then drove to her mother's place and the mother confirmed that, yes, I received a mysterious message that says, I'm not so-and-so's mom, you are her mom. I said, yeah. Then I explained how I became close to her daughter. Then I said, out of the blue, I said, let me see that number that sent you this SMS. Coincidence, I'm not so sure if surprisingly, it is my number that has sent this message. I say to this woman, but this is my number that sent me this message and I don't know your number. And she was also perturbed to say, man, I did not take note of the number that sent me this SMS. I just immediately called her. I said, but do you remember giving me your cell numbers? No, I don't. And never. Who knows these numbers? She says to me, it's only my two daughters that know this number. And this one, I use it for paying accounts. The Holy Spirit says, wake up. But I don't know why I chose to continue. Honestly, I don't have answers. Get irritated with me to say, but Mama, how could you? I'm asking myself the same question. How could I? I should have known. I should have picked it up. But unfortunately, I didn't pick it up. But in all this, I still say, I thank God for the trial and the tribulations. This is one knowledge that I believe I'm a better person today because of what I went through. That is why I love the scripture that says, count it all joy when you go through suffering. It's only for a little while. And the purpose is for God to show you the power that you have to can withstand those things that some other people couldn't withstand. You see? So after that, we became sort of family friends with her family. I would be there. She would come to my house. We blended the two families, and I would go to the mom, and she would say, "Hey, let her, because Lina was also a victim. Let them pay me, and you can take back your daughter." Then I don't know why I never thought of DNAs. Honestly, there's a lot of questions that I'm asking myself, but the only thing that makes sense is that I was spiritually manipulated. I was, and no one can convince me that there is no spiritual manipulation. I have lived that life for 7 years. I resigned out of depression without having a plan. I became a fool in front of people, guys. I became a fool testifying in churches, and people would see me as mad. But today, I thank God. I was embarrassed at the place of work where I was working. I was the daily gossip. I was declared as I was mad person to even my colleagues. In meetings, I was a joke. But God sustained me. If I was somebody else, I believe I attempted suicide many a times. I would drink tablets. I would try to take the work firearm and shoot myself, but it wouldn't go on. I even drank Khalipirimi. I don't know what is Khalipirimi in English, but it's a very strong mixture for rats. It didn't kill me. People have died out of Khalipirimi. It didn't. I drank tablets, all of them. That's why now, even if I can take whatever tablet, I know I won't die. And I've seen, that is what showed me that the hand of the Lord is upon me. So towards the end, yes, that I see now that her empire, together with those that she was working with, began to crumble. Hey, you know, this woman, this young girl, had it all planned out with her team, ne? She would come to me and say, are you aware that so and so of your relatives are my friends on the Facebook? And I check and I call and I find them. Yeah, you knew about my stolen daughter. What? And it will just be tatters in the family. However, in the midst of all this, it's like my memory came back. Remember in one of the episodes when I was told about the spiritual operation of the removal of those fetuses for the misplacement of this other child that caused havoc in my life. This person, alleged person who was sending SMSs, kept on saying, the person closest to you, be careful. Even me, now I accept that I'm a witch. I accept that I caused you havoc, but people in our family, they are denying it, yet we work together against you. So one day I'm sitting, man. I remember, man, along my journey, around between 26, 29, this particular family members, they took me to 3 doctors. It's like I'm waking up. I now recall, man, I was taken to a witch doctor in a bush, in a village about 80 km from where we come from. But we were in the sort of the forest, but it was not that dense. And that particular witch doctor or traditional healer, thank you for somebody who explained the difference between the two. So that old man refused to do anything unto me, because when he started his process, he said, you cannot bring an anointed person to me. You want to make my things expire. We came back. Remember, even in that state, I'm not questioning, why are you taking me there? What am I here to do? The second one, I was taken to another village close to where we are staying, and I was made to bath. I was given a spiritual bath of, I remember, I don't know where the bullets came from, but they, they unclustered the bullet, and the powder was poured into into the water mixed, and whatever was done. And these things came back. And I remember that when I was pregnant with my daughter, highly pregnant, because I couldn't give birth, I was also taken to another tradition, witch doctor. This one I will say witch. It's not the traditional, according to the explanation. This one, the bath was this. These were the ingredients. Brand new nails. What do you call them? The things that you use to sew. Needles, ne? Yeah, needles. Yes, the needles. Brand new needles were bought. They had to buy a black cock. And that I'm highly pregnant. That black cock's blood was made to spill on my head whilst I was seated inside the bath. I was naked with a very huge belly, my daughter inside of me. And those brand new needles were put in that bath, and I was made to bath with it. When I recalled this, I said, man, something strange has happened to me. And I called these particular individuals that were there. I said, what were you doing to me, guys? And how come I forgot about these rituals? What was it for? These people at first they denied, but ultimately when I called these people, one of them said, what do you want actually? I said, I need you to own up to what you did to me, at least explain to what you did to me. And if possible, reverse this thing, because honestly, there's a deep secret here and I'm receiving these SMSs. My life is in tatters, is in chaos. That particular individual says, I do not have the guts to go back to those people that we took you to. I can't. In the midst of that, I also went back to that traditional doctor after we went and I was given something to bath that girl with. I went back to that traditional doctor. No, this one is a witch doctor, because how do you remove a child from another womb and you acknowledge? Because I went again, I'm sure 2 to 3 times, because I then allowed myself to be angry. I don't want that spirit of anger anymore in my life. I went to her place and I said, what did you do to me? And she said to me, look, I'm a witch. I want money. When these people came to me wanting to do what they wanted to do to you, I told them that the process is very dangerous and it's either you are going to die or you are going to come out mad. But they were so desperate to can go on. So yes, I did it. Remember, now I'm a witch and I did not go to these people. They came to me. But I warned them that when it comes out, because you are the anointed one, it's not going to be nice. So you sort it out with them. How I can support you, try to get them to talk. If they refuse, one day when you feel that you are tired, call me. I will call all of them. I'll summon them, because I know their secrets. They are paying me up to now. They are paying me for what they have taken from you. And I told them, how could you be so cruel? But now, at that time, and even now, I am a witch. She even further exposed and said, I work with pastors. All these born-again creatures that you are talking to me about, my dear, I am the one who intensifies or rather empowers them. I give them power to do magic. You guys, you are seated at the back, and she even confronted me to say, you leave this thing and follow your calling and deliver people. Expose these things, because it's not only you. It has happened to a lot of people. We are doing this. She said to me, a lot of children are misplaced, Pinky. As I'm talking to you, a lot of children are misplaced. And when you talk this thing, you are going to help them to understand why their lives is full of mischief or disappointments or stagnation. She said, do your calling. I'm doing mine. I made a choice to be a witch. And I had promised her, wherever we meet, I'm going to hit you. When I got here, I got frustrated. I wanted to take this thing physical. I remember one time she called me. She said, look, I know you are going to do it. You are going to fight me on the street. Unfortunately, I'm going to get you arrested. Remember, you are a cop. Assault, it's an offense. And I am going definitely to get you arrested. But what I feel for you, after having being hired to do, consulted to do that which I have done to you, I don't want you to be arrested. I need you to get your life back. Your God loves you so much. If you only knew what you have. And then, since that time, honestly, I became calm. I began focusing on God and said, God, you allowed me to go through that which I have gone through, as well as my children. Just open the next chapter of my life. Give me the power to be able to forgive. Give me the power to be able to heal. My soul was so broken. I had given up. There are days that they are so heavy. But when I look back at what I've been through, I really see it is by God's grace that I have made it. And I believe that God allowed this situation so that I can be able to sit down with others that have gone through that and be able to assist them in their deliverance, because not many pastors will understand it. Most pastors are in these things. They are working with these young girls who pretends to be our daughters. If they are our daughters, they were demonically manipulated to can work against blood, because blood against blood, it's not easy to can come between people that are related. So sometimes I sit down and I say, is she really my daughter? So if she's my daughter, she could have been the one chosen to finish me off, because nothing has been able to finish me off. What do you want to say? I want to say to you, when you see somebody going through something that you do not understand, please refrain from judging. Refrain from making it a joke and making it a laughing matter. However, we cannot one cannot choose how people will react to certain things that they have never been through. And in some instances, we must recognize, I came to realize that people that are doing these things, they will ridicule you. They will call you mad because they don't want these things to be known. They don't want these things to be exposed. Pastors don't want it to be known that they consult witch doctors. Fortunately, I've got people that are witch doctors that confess to me that, Pinky, so and so, they pay me. There have been instances where they have woken me up to say, come and see so and so car is parked outside. He's consulting. We're now with this thing of saying you're not going to do it anymore. You're wasting your time. But I would say to them, until you get born again, I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to love you. I'm not going to judge you. All that I'm going to do as witch doctors, I'm going to pray that you come out of this demonic practices. To me, it's demonic. Don't ask me how do I know. I've never studied demonology, but the actions and for the fact that they confess to me that there is another world that we don't know, I believe them. I believe them. They tell me the things that they can do, and I would look at them and I would say, I usually tell them, the powers that you are using, they are still God's power. It's just that it's a defiled power which was disclosed to you by those that chose to rebel against God, those whom God trusted with this knowledge, which was to be given to us at the right time, but because of wanting to be at the equal sitting, equal foot as God, equal position as God, they gave you the position. God refused for that information to be given at that time, because he knew that you are going to use it to destroy others, which is exactly what is happening. What am I saying to somebody who has gone this journey? I'm saying, obviously, the toughest battle is given to the toughest soldiers. You are tough. You'll realize when you come to the end of this chapter that you are going through. You will realize when you meet someone, some of us that are like me, that have gone through this and they are still here and they still believe that God has got a bigger plan. Betrayal of the family. I've been betrayed by my family. I've said it, I've mentioned it, even my mother. And I've mentioned that my mother is here, staying with me. Is it easy? No, it's not. But gradually I'm getting there. Since I learned issues of spirituality through what I went through. I did not read any book, guys. I only read, I did not go for any training. I'm not an initiate of anything. But I read books of people that have done these things, that were in the cults, that were witches, that were warlocks, that were wizards. And I've realized some of them have repented, some of them have accepted Christ, and they are exposing these things. And I realize that I still say it's these spirits that occupy someone else's body and use that body for their agenda. And the reason why they use such bodies is because they have identified iniquity within you. They have identified jealousy, envy, anger. Anything that is negative, they identify it's an open door for this spirit to possess you and use you. Yes, my mom has done wicked things to me. Yes, she has done very, very painful things. towards my son, she has said, state words that are very painful. Ephesians says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle against principalities, rulers of darkness, and wickedness seated in high places. My war is against that. My war is that how dare you come and occupy somebody else's body, and you use their face, you use their mouth, a God-given temple, to destroy and hurt us. When I do this and forgive my mom, and I still say, I'm going to forgive all of them, even the young girl, as long as she repents. Not for me, not for the focus, for her peace. When you are not repentant, one thing for sure, I know you do not have peace. It's a priceless treasure. You can have Mercedes Benz, you can have mansions, you can have whatever. I've got nothing. Now, I've lost everything that is attached to success in terms of the world language. I lost my job. Guys, I promise you, I would have been maybe a director. I studied for nothing. But I see them as valueless now, after having realized that life is beyond this. And that is why I say, I have forgiven my mom. I'm struggling that I want her, or whatever that she's hiding within her heart, that she thinks that if I know it, it's going to kill me. I want to show that thing, whatever the spirit that's possessing her, that it's not going to defeat me and I become angry and throw her out. And I'm still saying to my family and relatives and that closest person who is said to be in these things, guys, I will forgive them. It's not that I'm foolish. I am disarming them. I'm disarming the spirit behind my war here. It's spiritual. And my war here is that they die free of being possessed. That's my only focus. I cannot call myself a born-again Christian, yet I have hatred. I stand before congregations and preach. Yet I hate my mom. Yet I hate my relatives. Yes, but now they're going to be angry that I'm talking about them. I'm talking about them, not with them. It's about the spirit that is controlling my family and my relatives. I am fighting for coming generations that they must be set free, because we have children, we have grandkids in our family. In my family, most of the grandchildren, we are divorced. I asked my mom, what is happening? All of us are getting divorced, even if they can remarry. But all of us, we get divorced. Yet all of them, they stayed in marriages. These are the things that, if we want to be free spiritually, we need to question patterns that are playing and replaying in our lives. You are divorced, your mother is divorced, your grandmother is divorced, you are all unemployed, you are all drunkards at home, you struggle. Something is not right. And you know the pattern what these people use of the kingdom of darkness. It's a chain that surrounds you. They become friends, they become your husbands, they become your children, they become mommy, they become loving, yet they meet just to destroy the God-given gift that you don't even know. Even at this time, I want to tell you, I'm not so sure what do they want? What is this envy all about? I don't know. I mentioned that when I was going through this thing with this young girl, there was another voice of that sounded like a Nigerian woman. Do you know, I'm going to say it sounded like, because I can't put it past her that maybe she changed her voices. This woman used to say, we want what you have. It sounded like a Nigerian lady. She said, if you only knew what you have. I don't know what I have. I only know that I have Christ by grace. I didn't know him. Whilst proclaiming that I'm a born-again Christian, I could go and consult. And I know the witch doctors or the traditional doctors that I went to, they would say, but you also came. Yes, I did come. I was confused. I wanted truth until God allowed it that I should resign. And I spent time with him. And I understood that I can no longer exalt any other God besides him. Anything that seeks to exalt itself about God, be it my mom, be it my husband, be it my child, I shut off. Because the same people that say they are helping me, they die the same way as me. I wonder, why should I? You're going to tell me that Jesus Christ died? Yes, he died, but he rose. You're going to tell me that I don't know him, he's a Jew? Yes, he's a Jew. Yes, I'm not going to come into these arguments that he may be black. I don't know. All that I know is that during that period, when I called his name and say, in the name of Jesus, the atmosphere itself would change. I would be strengthened. I would have hope that one day it shall be over. And it is over. And again, if he allows another test, all things worketh together for good to those who trust the Lord according to his purpose. If there is another test that is coming, I am saying, let your will be done. Be it an attack by my family members, be it an attack by other pastors, he is still God. If he allows for me to be killed in this journey, I will die like Stefan and say, I thank you, Lord, that I died proclaiming your word. Because when I look back where I come from the womb, how I grew, rejection, the rapes, the spiritual manipulation, losing of jobs, losing of marriages, exposure, being sidelined. But there is one person, there is one name that has never left me. It's the name of Jesus.